I wish to testify about the Fieldenstein case, because it was the most significant trial of the period. It is important not only that the tribunal understand it, but the whole German people. But in order to understand it, you must understand the period in which it happened. There was a fever in the land, a fever of disgrace, of indignity, of hunger. We had a democracy, yes, but it was torn by elements within. Above all, there was fear. Fear of today, fear of tomorrow, fear of our neighbors, fear of ourselves. Only when you understand that can you understand what Hitler meant to us. Because he said, raise your heads, be proud to be German. There are devils among us, communists, liberals, Jews, gypsies. Only when these devils have been destroyed will your misery be destroyed. It's the old story of the sacrificial lamb. What about those of us who knew better? We who knew these words were lies and worse than lies. Why did we sound silent? Why did we take part? Because we loved our country. What difference does it make if a few political extremists lose their rights? What difference does it make if a few racial minorities lose their rights? It is only a passing fad. It is only a stage we are going through. It will be discarded sooner or later. Hitler himself will be discarded sooner or later. The country is in danger. We must come out of the shadows. We must move forward. Forward is a great password. History tells how well we succeeded, Your Honor. We succeeded beyond our wildest dreams. The very elements of hate and power about Hitler that mesmerized Germany, mesmerized the world. We find ourselves with sudden, powerful allies. Things that had been denied us as a democracy were open to us now. The world said, go ahead. Take it. Take it. Take Sudetenland. Take the Rhineland. Remilitarize it. Take all of Austria. Take it. And then one day we looked around and found ourselves in even more terrible danger. The ritual began in this courtroom, swept across the land like a raging, roaring disease. What was to have been a passing fad had become a way of life. Your Honor, I was content to sit silent during this trial. I was content to tend my roses. I was even content to let counsel try to save my name. Till I realized that in order to save it, he would have to raise the specter again. You've seen him do it. He has done it in this courtroom. He has tried to suggest that the Third Reich worked for the benefit of the people. He has tried to suggest that we sterilized men for the welfare of the country. He has even tried to suggest that maybe the old Jew did sleep with the 16-year-old girl after all. Once again, it's being done for love of country. It's not easy to tell the truth, Your Honor. But if there is to be any salvation for Germany, we who know our guilt must admit it, whatever the pain, humiliation. I had reached my verdict on the Fieldenstein case before I ever entered the courtroom. I would have found him guilty, whatever the evidence. It was not a trial at all. It was a sacrificial ritual in which Fieldenstein, the Jew, was the helpless victim. I am aware. I am aware. Counsel would have you believe we were not aware of the concentration camps. Not aware. Where were we when Hitler began shrieking his hate in the Reichstag? Where were we when our neighbors were being dragged out in the middle of the night to Dachau? Where were we when every village in Germany had a railroad siding with cattle cars filled with children on their way to be exterminated? Where were we when they cried out to us in the night? Were we deaf, dumb, blind? We can't have you believe we were not aware of the concentration camps and the extermination of the millions. We would have you believe we were only aware of the extermination of the hundreds. Does that make us any the less guilty? Maybe we didn't know the details. But if we didn't know, it was because we didn't want to know. I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm going to tell them the truth, even if the whole world conspires against it. I'm going to tell them the truth about the Minister of Justice, Werner Lampe, an old man who cries into his Bible now, an old man that profited by the property expropriation of every man he sent to the concentration camp. Friedrich Hofstadter, the good German, who knew how to follow orders, who sent men before him to be sterilized like so many digits. Emil Hahn, the decayed, corrupt, bigot, obsessed by the evil within himself. And Ernst Yanni, worse than any of them, because he knew what they were, and he went along with them. Ernst Yanni, who made his life excrement because he walked with them.